Well, a hearty good evening again, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. It is time once again for the Champion Brothers ChampCast, Bubba's Big Broadcast, or,
Let's just talk some Southern gospel.
yes, look, right over there's Neil.
Yep, and Chris is right there as always.
Yes, and we've got special guests tonight.
We do have, we do have. We
I've
got a
been waiting
good.
on this for a little, about a year now. Did we talk about what the date was when we did the first one of these? But
It was definitely end of February, 1st of March kind of thing. So it was
yeah,
close to a year. Yeah.
but we've got a great guest that we've been chomping at the bit to have with us and got everything. The boys in research and development set everything up. We'll have them on in just a minute here. But
Yes.
first off, we want to talk about the main reason that we are one of the main reasons that we're doing this, and that is Neil.
We are having this singing in Fayette,
Yes,
Alabama, a
that one
concert.
right there.
Yeah, I had a whole series last year. We're going to do it all again this year. And speaking of doing it again, we're going to have the Dixie Echoes back again in March, March the 18th to be exact, at the Fayette
Yep.
Civic Center. 6 o'clock is when we're going to get started. Now, we did start an hour later last year, and we decided after that, let's just back this thing up an hour. And so we're going to start at 6, like we did the other two last year.
Yep.
And of course, Faithful Friends will give us some, Chosen Witness will give you some, and then we'll just have a night of Dixie Echoes after that. Won't cost you a dime to get in. We always tell you, just please come, bring a bunch of folks with you, tell a bunch of folks about it. Come on, churches, get them vans, get the oil change, get them tuned up if you need to, and fill them up and bring them over that night with the entire church
Yes.
group.
And we will sure look for you there on March 18th. And Neil, I forgot to do one thing. So we're going to have a slight hiccup here while I forgot to do my music's sharing stuff. So I'm going to try to get that and we'll get it right back. There we go. Try to do it without too much disruption.
There we
That's,
go.
that's an
None
E
at all.
champion or EC champion if you're scoring it on.
Yeah.
I knew I forgot
Yeah.
something. But one
That's
thing I didn't forget is our special guest. Can we come on and bring him on? I'm just so
bring him
excited.
on. Anticipation is killing everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, live and direct. Wait a minute, I gotta do some stuff here. Let me see if let me get my spectacles. This man deserves his own kind of thing. Yeah, I'll make sure I was punching the right button here. But live and direct from P.O. Box 3, Steens, Mississippi. Yep, there it is. You've been wishing for him, and he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ken Cook right here. Oh, they're
Yeah.
just going crazy.
What are y'all doing?
Hey, Ken,
Hey,
how you doing?
I do really well. How about y'all?
Oh man, if we was any better,
Doing
we'd be
good.
cooks.
Well, y'all looking pretty good anyway.
You
we
nervous
made
about being on here with two champion boys?
Nah, I ain't nervous. No.
You can handle, can't you?
I meant to tell you last night. I went over to Ken's last night and helped him get set up for all this. And I thought about it after I left. I was like, I should have told him to get some phone books because when he comes on the screen, he's going to look like he's a lot shorter than me and Neil, but he's not really.
Yeah, it just has to do with the position of the camera, don't it?
I'm
And
Yes.
the chair.
taking
Yeah.
it,
That's all
taking
right.
it easy in the chair.
Yes,
All
sir.
righty. That's
Absolutely.
fine.
But we have talked about you a whole lot, and we hadn't given you a chance to defend yourself before now. But and I've said this in Faithful Friends singings and other times that we've gotten together that you're either who folks need to thank or blame for me and Neil getting into all this,
Pretty
the
much
Southern
it.
gospel world anyway. But I don't know that I have ever heard you tell it. Uh, just just tell the folks the story of how we got to know you and or me and Neil got to know you. I mean, our families went way back, but that was before we knew you. But just tell the story in your words of how we all got together.
Well, it started out was went to the theme park in Nashville, Tennessee, and at the time we needed a baritone singer for the Columbians Quartet.
Yeah,
And guess who we ran into? We ran into your dad and you and Neil and Laverne.
yeah,
And I
Was
asked
not
him,
planned at all, right?
Oh no.
"No, not playing at all." And we
Yeah,
just,
neither one of us knew the other one was there.
that's exactly right. We wound up at the same place. And I asked Joe, I said, we need a baritone singer. Would you be interested in singing with a Colombian? He said, I think he said I would. And he got back with us, and we sang 2 or 3 years together.
Yeah.
And that was about 1970.
Like I say sometimes, 1970 long ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. But we got together and we sung together something like 2.5 years and cut 2 albums. And we just had a great time. And I think at the time when Joe came on, it was we had your dad and Avon Russian, Don Shepard, James Jones was playing the piano,
Hmm.
and Mark Jones was playing the drums.
Yes, sir.
And I think, Dale, did you play at first the bass guitar, or was that later?
I think Daddy came to the first practice with y'all, and y'all said you didn't have a bass guitar player. And he said, well, Neil hadn't played it, but he probably could. And I came to the next practice, and I sat right there and learned how to play bass at Colombian practices.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I played from the time Daddy started. Sure did.
Well,
He got one practice ahead of me.
James played the piano for a year or two, and then he had to go off to college down south at that place called Auburn.
Yeah, that other college, yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna say that. Anyway, after that, Mark moved up to the piano, and Chris moved up to the drums,
I'm sorry.
and you stayed playing the bass.
That's right.
And we had some really good times, and cut 2 albums, and that was some really good days. We had some good time. And during that time, we fell in the mud and bought a bus.
I was hoping you would lead into that because I was reaching to lead you there. If you
Everybody
didn't,
and their brother needs to have a bus to work on. We bought that thing in Hartselle, Alabama. There was a group up there, and they was trying to sell the bus. And we went up there. We all gathered up and went in our cars to right next to Hartselle, back this side. And they had the bus parked on the side of the interstate, on the ramp. Well, the bus was running when we got there. I thought that was kind of strange. It didn't cut it off. So we all gathered up and got on the bus and rode down the interstate and come back and asked him how much he wanted for it. And he told us. So he took the bus home. We came back home. And we made arrangements the next few days. And we went back up there. And I think your dad and myself, I think that's the only two that went to get the bus. Somebody had to drive I don't know. But anyway, I had never drove a bus in my life. And we picked the bus up at this guy's house. And I thought I was going to run over every car on the road because it was so big. And you had to get coming back, we came through Jasper and up through there, and we come up one great long hill, and we had to get that thing down in the first or second gear to get up the hill, because it didn't have a whole lot of power. So we got it home, and we took a lot of trips on that bus. First long trip we took was to Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah.
remember that one.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
We went to my brother's church over there, and they were saying at another church, and we started back home. The windshield wipers wouldn't work. The dad got out there and worked on them, got the bus going. We got back home and the transmission played out. We had to put it in the bus in the shop and get it fixed. It was just it was just something all the time. But and the air conditioner never did work. Never did work. The people we bought it from said, well, we didn't turn it on because when y'all looked at the bus because it just takes too long to cool off. That wasn't the case. The thing never would have worked at all, and it never did. It was hot in the summer, but in the wintertime we had a little space heater, Wade Brown hooked up with a little gas bottle. That's how we stay warm. But in the summertime, you just let all the windows down and hope you can get a little air.
For sure.
Oh man,
Great memories.
Some great times. And you were talking about the two albums, and I pulled up some songs. Of course, I wanted to let you do some singing from the 1970, long time ago. But the first one I picked out was off of that first Colombians album that Neil and Dad were on with you and Avon and Don and Mark and James. One called "He Is Mine and I'm His." You got any memories about that song?
It was a good song, and I I tried to fill in the high tenor part, but I really wasn't much of a high tenor singer.
I disagree with you on that.
I could sing a few lead songs, and that was a good song to sing.
Yep. Let's listen to it. Here's the Colombians from 19. What, Neil? You're the official historian. What was it? 76 or 7?
About 77, I believe.
Yeah. And one called "He Is Mine and I Am His." Let's listen to it. And y'all aren't hearing it, are you?
No.
All right, just hang on. It's always something. But let me try this. We'll get it going one way or to another. But I should have done a better job of checking everything out. But it's going to come up here in just a few moments. I'm convinced of it. So let's try it again and see.
Now and his praise is holy.
you some Colombians music, and he is mine and I am his here on the Champion Brothers broadcast with our special guest Ken Cook tonight. And Ken, that brings back a memory of about 17, does it?
Mm, yes, sir, it
Let
does.
me see here. Let me get you back on here. I think we got you now.
You got them back.
Well, let's see. Hang on.
Yeah,
Now
I hear him all right.
there we go. Now I can hear you. My bad. That was on my end
Yeah.
again. I'm kind of new at this thing. I keep punching the wrong button. So
Well, we've only been practicing for a year, so we got to get
Yeah,
with it. Yeah.
that's
we'll
right.
get there eventually. But want to say hey to some folks. Let me get over here into the comments and the reactions and all. Megan Edgeworth says, "Good evening, guys. Appreciate you dropping in." Shirley Simpson from over in Arkansas. Oh, sis. I shouldn't say oh, sis, but sis. Checking in with us tonight. Glad to have you. And hey to Rick Jones. Loretta's upstairs. Is she upstairs or downstairs, Neil? I don't know. That's
She's
the previous
upstairs.
comment,
Yeah.
but yeah.
She's upstairs.
And then Melissa Blackburn and Tim Mays and Donna Coker and Megan Edgeworth said Les Butler said hi to Neil and Chris and Ken and everybody. So appreciate that. And Melanie Jolly says hello from Ethelsville. So glad to have y'all chiming in with us tonight.
You said Tim Mays. That's a singing machine right there, buddy.
You got that right.
Glad you
Whether
listening,
it's
Tim.
bluegrass or straight ahead. And Tim, I don't know if you're still on here or not, but I need to get the real Southern Gospel Quartet stuff. I'm filling in for Ron Foster over on 95.3 The Bear in Tuscaloosa. I need to get that. Well, we'll have to get that there. But got Carlos Smith from Calera, Alabama, chiming in. I believe you
Hey,
know
Carlos.
him, don't you, Neil?
I do, from way back. Me and Brother Carlos go way back.
Yep. So, Ken, we were talking about all kind of stuff, and it's just the memories come flooding back every time I play those kinds of songs. But even going back before the Colombians days, you and Dad and Avon had sung together in another quartet back in high school and thereafter, didn't you?
Yes, in my junior year, I guess it was. Uh, your dad and me and Avon and Charles Brown sang in the FFA quartet, and of course I think they had a district back then, but anyhow, we wound up and went to state and actually won the state that year.
And I don't mean to cover you up, but does this look familiar?
Yes, it does.
Wow, look at there. Look at there.
All the black hair and all, and crew cuts. And
Yep.
that lady there is Doris Ursary.
Yeah.
She played for the group, and we actually sang the next year. We got to go to state, and we got beat. We came out second that year.
Yeah.
I think the group that won the contest that second year, they sang "Hold That Tiger," and that's how they won the contest. And we thought it was going to be gospel, but that was far from gospel. Holding that tiger.
Well, I don't know if this is true or not, but you can verify it. But somebody told me, I don't know if it was Dad or who, but that y'all did some non-gospel stuff, didn't you? Or did you? Or am I thinking about a later generation or earlier generation?
I don't remember doing anything.
Because I can't remember who. It might have been Donald Mack that told me, but he said there was an FFA quartet from Millport that sung Tutti Frutti one year. So was that not you?
No, we didn't do that.
Okay, all right. Well, that must have been Donald Mack then. That's more his speed anyway. So.
We were very fortunate. The first year we won the state, we actually won second place in between Florida, Georgia, and Alabama.
Yeah.
So after we got out of high school, we never pursued singing together, and who knew? Years later, we would all wind up, a lot of us singing together.
Yeah.
And, but we had some Oh, we back to the bus.
Yeah, more
I
bus stores. I like this.
Well, when we bought that bus, didn't nobody know how to drive it. We grind the gears and all that, and of course everybody wants to drive the bus. So
Hmm.
except Avon, he didn't want to drive the bus. And I did, and Joe and Don Shepard. And when we got back from the singing in Augusta, Georgia, we said we got to find somebody to work on this bus, and we got to find somebody that might drive it.
Hmm.
And Wade Brown come along.
Yep.
He took the bus home with him, and he got it. Actually, the bus never had a speedometer at all. I mean, you just had to guess how fast you was going. And Wade,
I didn't remember that.
that's the truth. And also, you it never had a gauge to tell how much fuel you had. So you had to guess how much fuel, how many trips you made, and hopefully how many miles a gallon it got. And but thank the Lord, we never ran out of fuel. I mean, we try to every time we go to sing, we go back and fill it up again. Ever how much it held, we never knew how much it held. But it was Wade was our bus driver all that time, and he did a great job and kept it going. And we bought 4 new tires. Yes, we bought 4 new tires. 2, 4. No, we bought 6 new tires.
Yeah.
We might not have nothing else, but we had good tires. And but it was something else. And I remember I remember the singing one time. There was a group there, and they said a fellow was bragging how much miles a gallon that their bus would get. It was just like ours.
Yeah.
The guy said 15, 16 miles an hour, miles per gallon. And Wade spoke up. He said you couldn't get 15 miles a gallon if you dropped it out of an airplane.
He called that bluff, huh?
Yeah. So it was. We had some. One more bus trip. Now,
No, take
you
your
got to have
time.
it.
This is our show. We got all night for
And I
you.
think y'all talked about this on the show last year. We went to Boonville, Mississippi
Oh yeah.
on a hot summer day, and I bet it was 95 degrees. Of course, we didn't have any air conditioner at all. I
Mhm.
mean, windows down, hot air blowing in the bus. But anyway, we didn't quite know where we were going to be at, and we knew the church name, and so we got to a point and stopped at this little old service station. These guys sitting out front playing checkers. And we asked them, "Can you tell us where this church is?" And they said, "Yeah, you go down here and turn left and do this." And so we did. We started up this big long hill. Well, Wade missed a turn. In the meantime, the bus went dead. Bus Wade had to let that bus start backing up and pop that clutch, and he got it fired up. Well, when he did, we made that turn. We got down there to the church, and people were coming out of the church. And we noticed there's a funeral canopy out there. I thought, man, that's kind of strange. You're going to have a funeral or something? I got off the bus, and they were coming out of the church. And he said, "You're 1 week late." I said, "What?" "Yeah, you're supposed to have been here last week." I said, "Okay, we will talk to you later." We never talked to him later. He didn't invite us back.
What can you say?
Wow.
And I hated to get back on that bus and tell all y'all. I did. And I told them, I said, let's go home. And we stopped in Tupelo at a restaurant and ate and went back home. And but it made me do one thing.
What's that?
I called the week we were supposed to be somewhere. I called to be sure.
I think every group that's ever sung had to learn a hard lesson about advancing a date.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
Checking
Yes,
to make sure you're going to be there. Here's somebody that you used to sing with is checking in. Pam and David Baker says there's old Ken Lee.
yeah, family. Oh,
Let's
yeah,
play some more Colombian music. Is that all right with you?
good to me.
I
Yeah.
want to play another one that you're featured on. Lord, I Can't Even Walk. You got anything you want to tell about that one?
Mm-hmm. Well, not really. It's just a good song to sing.
I don't know if she'll ever see this or somebody might tell her, but and I'm having a brain cramp here. Christy Green, she's now Christy Ramsey, that lives not too far from me here in Fayette. But every time I hear this song, I think about her because it's she and Avon were kin. And this was when Christy was probably, I don't know, 5, 6 years old, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to come to a lot of our singings, and she would sit on the front row most of the time. And just about every time they came, she wanted to hear you sing, Lord, I Can't Even Walk. So
Yep,
that
I
didn't
remember
cost you
that.
any extra, but that's what I think about every time I hear you sing this song. But here's Ken and the Colombians, and Lord, I Can't Even Walk.
Lord, I can't even walk without you holding my hand. I thought number one would surely be me. I thought I could be what I wanted to be. I thought I could build on life's sinking sand, but I can't even walk without you holding my hand. I can't even walk without you holding my hand. The mountains too high and the valleys too wide. Down on my knees I learned to stand. Lord, I can't even walk without you holding my hand. I thought I had done a lot on my own. I thought I could make it, oh, all alone. I thought of myself as a mighty big man, but I can't even walk without you holding my hand. I can't even walk without you holding my hand. The mountains too high and the valleys too wide. Down on my knees I learned to stand. Lord, I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Oh, Lord, I can't even walk without you holding my
The Colombians and Lord, I Can't Even Walk. A little bit later, that Charles Johnson, the Revivers, hauled off and sung a Colombian song. That's why I thought about it, because I'd never heard Charles Johnson, the Revivers, or heard of Charles Johnson, the Revivers, until I heard them sing that song. And I was like, oh, look at there. They're singing the Colombian songs.
Covering the Colombians.
One of the
Yep.
most dramatic endings of any group that I've ever been affiliated with.
Definitely builds up, don't it?
Yep.
Yes, it does.
And you do. I don't know what that note is, but you just rung it every night.
Too
You
high.
sung it.
Too high.
Well, in case you're just joining us, Ken Cook is our special guest tonight. I get to sing with him every time Faithful Friends go somewhere to sing, and sang in the Colombians with me and Neil back behind him back in the day. And we're getting ready for a big concert that's coming up in just a little over a month away. There's you a little bit about that. The Fayette Civic Center is where we're going to have it. The Dixie Echoes are coming back to town to see us. And our group, Faithful Friends, and Neil's group, Chosen Witness, will be there. No admission charge. Just come on, have a good time with us, and hope that you'll come and enjoy a great night of some good gospel singing. And then Faithful Friends will get up there. No, I'm just kidding. But we're looking forward to it, and I know you are too. And Ken, I wanted to segue into the Dixie Echoes and play one of their songs. They just released a project called Music and Melody, and they did some new recordings of some old songs, but they also went back and re-recorded some of the songs that they have done down through the years. And one of those is one that you just fell in love with all over again over the last couple of years. And you do a good job singing it with us with Faithful Friends, but it's a song called Crumbs from the Table.
Right.
What is it about that song that you like so much?
I don't know. It was just it was a song that really I guess it ministered to me. It was just a good song. That's about all I could say about it. And I can't do it justice like Randy Jr. can, but I think I have seen them twice, and I said, "Y'all didn't sing my song."
Uh-oh.
So, Randy, if you're listening, March 18th, you tell your dad y'all got to sing "Crumbs from the Table." So that's a special song.
Well, we will make sure that they get that message loud and clear. But let's listen to them sing it right now. How about that? Here's the Dixie Echoes and Crumbs from the Table.
Lord, bless your children who walk in perfection, who manage to master your will. Give them their share of sweet milk and wild honey. Provide bread of life till they're filled. Feed the children, but give me the crumbs from the table. I'll wait for them down on my knees. I'd be ever so grateful for crumbs from the table, for strength needed to follow me. Lord, I'm not worthy to eat from the platter, 'cause I'm just a beggar in need. Satisfy others, but when they're all finished, dear Jesus, have mercy on me. Feed the children, but give me the crumbs from the table. I'll wait for them down on my knee. I'd be ever so grateful for crumbs from the table, for strength needed to follow me. I'd be ever so grateful for crumbs from the table, for strength needed to follow me.
The Dixie Echoes and Crumbs from the Table here on the Champion Brothers broadcast. Ken Cook is our special guest this week, and I'm going to disagree. I know I'm not supposed to disagree with my elders and respect my elders and all that, but you do a mighty fine job of that song too. You need to give yourself some credit there, bud.
Agreed. Agreed.
Well, I thank you for that. I've been blessed all these years to be able to sing, and from high school up till now. And it's because of the Lord. He gives me the ability to do that. And as long as I can do it where it sounds good, I'm going to keep doing it. So
There you go.
And
Amen.
of course, I'm singing with that on the right. I don't know where you on the left or the right, Chris, but
The
anyway,
one in the dark blue shirt. How about
in the
that?
dark blue. We have a great time, and we've been singing together. Faithful Friends, 5.5 years now,
Yeah.
and
Gets by in a hurry, don't it?
and I tell people when I got out of singing for a while, and I run into Chris one time at my son's church in Mount
Mount Vernon, just outside
Mount
of
Vernon,
Fayette.
outside of Fayette. And he said, I think you and Neil and me, and I think everyone sang that day.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mark was
Kind of
on.
a reunion of the old Colombians quartet. And Chris asked me, said, you ever thought about singing? I said, yeah. When you want to sing? He said, I'll get back with you. I got somebody in mind. And, I waited and waited and waited. I don't know. It was 6, 7 months, might have been a year. And he finally called me back. He said, you ready to sing? I said, I was ready to sing a year ago. Anyway, he said, I found somebody that wants to sing. He said, Johnny Deere. I said,
Yeah.
so we got together, and I think we learned 10 songs and went to sing somewhere down below Tuscaloosa. I
Yeah,
forget.
down around Akron, I think.
Uh-huh. And we sang, we had 10 songs, and the man wanted Johnny to come sing by himself. He said, let me get this group together and we'll come sing as a quartet. And we did. And so that's where it started down there. And we've been singing 5.5 years, and hope we got 5.5 more. We'll see.
And Neil and Loretta have as much to do with the Faithful Friends history as me and you do,
Yes, it is.
because when, you and I had talked, but we couldn't find a third or a fourth, because we started out just as a trio, just me and you and Johnny, and then we added Randy a little while later. But Neil is the one who had told me that Johnny had retired from his job, and he said, you might want to call Johnny and see if he wants to sing. And so I did. And then it was a little bit before, he got back with me and about that singing in Akron, and there we go. And Neil has been kind enough to fill in. Johnny's going through some health deals now, and Neil's been singing with us the last, 3 or 4 times that we've sung.
Mm-hmm.
So, and got some more coming up. So,
Yep, doing a good job.
yep. So, appreciate that a whole bunch. So,
I always told Neil he sounded like his daddy.
yes, sir.
Now his daddy could sing a good song.
And I always say Neil's the singer in the family. I'm the great pretender in the family, but
Oh, not really. Not really.
I love doing it. But boy, can't nobody bring it like Neil can. So, and I'd say
think
that
of-
if you wasn't here, and I have. So.
You think about them Colombian days, though, or I think about them, and probably part of it is because I was so young, and you were so young, Chris. You know, things you remember from way back, they're a lot bigger to you than when you go back and maybe see them later in life. It's like,
Yep.
and the Colombians just about 2.5 years, but to me that was like a lifetime that we sang with them. So just think about it. Faithful Friends has been singing for twice as long as the Colombians did.
Or when we were with the Colombians, yeah.
Right. That's what I mean. That's what I mean during that time of the Colombians.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just amazing what an impact it had on my life, and I know yours too.
Yes, sir.
That time with the Colombian Quartet that started forming us to love this music for sure.
Yep. Absolutely. Hey, right quick, want to say hey to some more folks. Kim Upton's checked in with us tonight. Appreciate you. And Miss Janice Owens from Fayette, Alabama, saying hey. So glad to have you with us as well. And y'all feel free to jump in if you got a question for Ken or just want to say hey. We'd love to hear from you. We know the history has shown us that a whole lot more folks see us after the fact than when we're live. And Facebook's kind of changed up the way that they do things too. So we don't get the advance notice as much as you do as we did about a year ago when we were doing that. But we're glad to have folks join in anytime. And I appreciate y'all visiting with us this evening. And, well, look here. Here's last week's guest checking in now. There's Randall checking in from Arab, Alabama. Appreciate that. So, Ken, I want to talk about a song that you wrote. I asked you last night or I told you I thought Neil might have a copy of it from when the Colombians recorded it, wasn't it, Neil?
It was,
you
yeah.
just happened to have it right there?
I just happen to have it. It's lived such a hard life that I could not really record it off as good as I had wanted to. Will that even? It won't focus in on it, will it?
That looked familiar, Ken,
that's
from
a 45.
Trace Records.
Yeah,
That's got 4 songs on it, didn't it?
it does. It had 4 songs, 2 on each side, and one of them was this song you're about to talk about right now.
That's the very first time that recorded the Lord, I Know You're Always There. And it was done up in Tupelo, a little old recording studio up there. And I forget how many we ordered, but I still got a bunch of them I can still sail around myself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I need to pick up a good copy then. Mine's wore out.
Yeah. Neil's the digitizing historian. So
I got several up. If the heat upstairs in the attic hadn't burned them up, I think that now I know where they're at. They're in this very room where I'm at now.
Wow.
I've got a stack of albums. I don't know how to do this.
Big old stack.
Everywhere I went, we could. They'd give me a record of theirs, and I'd give one of ours to them.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I probably got 80 to 100 albums in my closet here. But one of the little 33 and the third, it's one in there too. But Neil, if you ever want one, I'll give it to Chris and you can have it.
All right, I do. Put me down.
I don't pretend to speak for my brother ever, and especially not now. But Ken, I can just about assure you that we're going to schedule a visit for Neil to come to your house. So
Well,
I can guarantee you he's going to want to look at all 80 or 100 of those
there's a
albums.
whole pile of albums, and some of them probably never have been opened at all. So
Wow.
you might want to come look at some of them, or
Yeah.
take how many you want, because I'll never use them probably. But
Neil's got to come see those. He'll be like a kid in a candy store.
Yep, I will. I will.
Mississippi's got the lotto now, but Neil will hit it when he comes to your house and sees them records.
we recorded that. Lord, I Know You're Always There with Glenn Pennington and Merle Pennington. And I think it was Al Jenkins and myself.
Yeah.
And then later years, the Mac Adams recorded the song again. And we did that I think we did that recording in Meridian.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the last time we recorded it. But I wrote the song. I say wrote it. I was on the way to Millport. I banked at Millport at the time. And on the way there, the song just came to me.
Mm.
Yeah, when I got home, I wrote it down. And that's the only one I ever wrote. And that was 30, 40 years ago. So but I like the song, and people kind of liked it when we sing it now. So
Well, we're still going to listen to it because what I did when I got home from work today, I pulled up a recording when we sang at Oak Ridge back in October at their homecoming, and we sung that song that night. And this isn't the studio quality recording. This is off of my phone sitting on the front bench recording it. But I kind of played with it a little bit and tried to spice it up or get the sound quality a little bit better. And I'm going to put Faithful Friends' picture up here. We haven't recorded this song yet, but it is this group that is singing it. But let's listen to Ken Cook's, the Ken Cook penned song called Lord, I Know You're Always There. And of course, I messed it up again. Hang on, boys. I hit the wrong button when I did it, and I've got the soundtrack. Ricky Morris actually played that for us, and well, now I feel like, what was it Tom Brokaw said one time? I don't feel like we got egg on our face. We got an omelet on our suit, but give me just a second, and I'm going to see if I can find that again. So just bear with me. Oh, I love it when technology doesn't work like we want it to. It's a great thing. But I know I saved it. I guess I pulled it in from the wrong place today, but let me see here. Let me try this again and see if this will work. So just remember, if you're watching us on Facebook, this is the only thing on our page right now. So I apologize. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to, well, let me see. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Hang on. For some reason, it's not wanting to pull in. So I tell you what, we're going to punt. I'm going to work on it some more. I don't know if Neil had to leave us for a second or not. There you are.
Yeah,
My deepest apologies, because it worked when I tried it earlier, but then when I clicked on it, it was just the soundtrack of it. But we're going to play it. I'm going to get it if it kills me. But I want to go ahead while I'm doing that. Let's play another song from the Colombian days, Ken. This was on the album that I got to be on. And it's a song that it's always, and I think we've played it on here before, a song that you sung off of the That Old Ship's Gonna Sail Again album called I Saw the Man. You remember much about that one?
I remember singing it. I don't remember that much about it, but I do remember singing the song. Mm-hmm.
So while I try to get my ducks in a row, I feel so bad because we built that song up so good, and I was so proud that I'd found it and got it on there. But I'm going to get it on before we quit tonight, one way or the other. But right now, let's listen to the Colombians sing I Saw the Man. How about that? pole to hang my Lord upon a rugged tree. And then I chanced to pass an old looking glass. There I saw the man staring back at me. I saw the eyes that turned aside. I saw the lips that sadly whispered, crucified. I saw the feet that walked in sin, and I saw the hands that drove the nails in him. I saw the man that crucified my Lord. If you could ever wonder about the sacrifice he made, about the pain and the suffering he went through, then if you could chance to pass an old looking glass, won't that be some reflection on you? You'll see the eyes that turned aside. You'll see the lips that sadly whispered, crucified. You'll see the feet that walked in sin, and you'll see the hands that drove the nails in him. You'll see the man that crucified my Lord. I am that man that crucified my Lord. There's you some more Colombians music. It's one called I Saw the Man here on the Champion Brothers broadcast. Ken, I think you're singing better today than you did back then, if that's possible. So you may not sing as high now as you did back then, but you're still singing as good. I'll put it that way.
That's exactly right. I'm glad I ain't singing high. You got
Oh man,
all
that's
the
good
time
stuff.
takes care of that singing high.
Yeah. Well, I am still efforting, but I'm closer now than I was a few minutes ago, and I think we're going to see if we can make this work or not. But we're going to try it just the same. If I can punch a few more buttons. Neil, I've been kind of hogging the conversation. You talk to Ken a minute while I work on this.
Oh man, that's all right. You've been
You
doing good.
you got plenty of stories that you can relate to too, I'm sure, don't you?
Yeah, but I've been enjoying listening. I mean, as a teenage bass player, what I can remember hearing more often than not from Ken, Avon, Daddy, and Don all was turning around and saying, "Turn the bass down, turn the bass down, turn the bass down," because I'd want to be rocking the windows in that church, and I'd be really having it going. And but they'd always tell me I did a good job when it was over, and they would encourage me at the same time. But yeah, I had to make sure I didn't have that bass rumbling too much back in those days. One of the first weekends we traveled, Ken, we went up into the Birmingham area, had about 5 singings that weekend. But I know we wound up in Kimberly. And I was playing when I first started learning to play the bass guitar. I was using my thumb. and I had played so hard all that weekend. I had a big old blood blister on my thumb. I don't know if you remember that or not, but Don Shepard had me hold up and show the church, the big old blister on my thumb, and I was still back there plucking it,
Yeah. There's some good singing up in that area. Sure
We did. Yeah, that church there was I guess it's one of them we could call a Baptist-costal because it said it was Baptist, but boy, it sure sounded a lot more like Pentecostal when you were singing there.
I always said, I forget what the name of the church was, but them people, they could clap and they would get with you.
They would.
They said, if we ever do a live album, it's going to be at that church.
That would have been a good place. Yeah, I believe the name of the church was Unity. I think it was Unity Baptist
That sounds familiar. But
in Kimberly, but yeah, they got happy.
You're talking about a good place to sing. Now that was a good place to sing, and but it was good.
Well, I'm going to try this again, so y'all just bear with me a second. I'm going to try to play it. Yeah, I think I've got the right one now. So we're going to back up and we're going to play the song from Ken Cook that Ken Cook wrote called Lord, I Know You're Always There. I believe it's going to work this time. Let's see, boys.
Sometimes I feel so lonely. There are times I feel so sad, and sometimes I feel so discouraged. But Lord, I know you're always there. Lord, I know you're always there. I know you'll answer my prayer. Lord, I know you're there in time on me. Lord, I know you're always there. As I travel down life's road, I can hardly bear the load. Then I hear my Jesus calling to me. He said, bring the burdens to me, and I will surely set you free. My Lord, He's always there. Lord, I know you're always there. I know you'll answer my prayer. Lord, I know you're there in every kind of need. Lord, I know you're always there. And I know you're always there.
That's Ken Cook featured on a song with Faithful Friends and Lord, I Know You're Always There. And Ken, I was looking at some of the responses in the comment section here, and we're seeing beautiful from Miss Patsy Robertson. Randall said, Ken still got it. Jim Varnon went crazy on the emojis there, so he's smiling and haloing and praying and everything else. So Marcus Honnold said, that sounds good, Mr. Ken. So a lot of good stuff there. That's a good song and good singing on it too. Thank you for that. And one other one that came in when we was playing the previous Colombians, and we'll pop this back up because Carolyn Robinson said that album cover looks very good. Well, I guess so because you took the picture, Carolyn. So, but I thought that was good too.
And
So,
standing on the wrong side too.
yeah, it was. I think it. Yeah, it was the front of that one, wasn't it? That the negative was reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Because looking at
Yeah,
that, and your hair's parted on the other side from where you normally parted it. Most of
that's
the
right.
rest of us, you can't really tell. Well, Avon's you can, but Neil's you can. So,
It was dark brown too, or dark black, or whatever you want to call it. So
yep. And you mentioned Wade Brown a while ago, and we've talked about this on here before. But Wade is a second from the right there. We wanted to get him on the album cover with us because
yeah,
he did so much to keep us going back then. But that's Wade, second from the right, standing right there between Mark Jones on the far right, and I don't know who that little short fat feller is there, but some things never change. Neil, you gonna come back on with us, or you gonna stay in the dark?
Well, I
There you
might as
are.
well
Okay.
come on, I reckon. There you go.
tell
But
you another. Let me tell you one more trip.
please do.
Y'all probably remember this, but I think at the time it had been really pouring, raining a lot, and we went somewhere down in South Alabama, and we got to almost to the church, and they had a road around the bridge, and it said the sign there said "Cross at your own risk." Everybody on the bus got off the bus, walked around that dirt road around the bridge, and I think Wade drove the bus across the bridge. And if I'm not mistaken, that church they had a singer there once a year, and they had one cord running from the ceiling, and we hooked up all of our mics and bass guitar and all that on that one little cord. And I don't remember the name of the church, but I just remember the bridge being out. And we didn't want to fall in the bridge, fall out. Anyway, and then one more church. We went to a church one time, and that night it rained too at that church. Well, Wade pulled the bus on the side of the church. Well, when we got ready to leave, Wade said, "Is there a road around the church?" He said, "Yeah, just go on around the church." Well, Wade did. He went around the church, and when we went around the church, something went. we didn't know what that was, but the next week I was up at Wade's house. We were doing something to the bus, and we found a stick. We had hit the side of that church, and we didn't know it, and it was a stick sticking at the very top of the bus. I ain't gonna tell you where that was at because they might want some money now.
Yeah.
That was my next question.
It was in Alabama somewhere, but I'm not.
I was going to say, did you call the church back and tell them about it? But I guess now we know that you didn't. So.
I did not. So we didn't call the church back. But anyway, it's just been fun singing all these years, and all you guys and all the people that many people that sung in the when the Colombians sang, and you might recognize the name Judy Predmore.
Yeah, Armstrong. Yeah,
She sang one time with us.
really.
Yes, she did. She sang the latest part. It was a high part.
Yeah.
And her dad and mom used to go with us. that was in the late stages of the Colombians, and we, her mom and dad used to go with us pretty regular, and so we, and I can't remember the song that back that time when I was driving the bus, and Judy would come up front where I was driving the bus, and I forget the old Gatlin Brothers song, and I forget the name of it, but she'd come up there and let's sing that song. So we did. Country song. So she ought to remember that because she was a lot younger than we were. So
Yep. I was figuring to say if it was like, because we did the same thing in the Bama Boys days, it was probably like All the Gold in California or something like
that's it.
that.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I remember we sung that at the Beta Club talent show at Millport one time, and Daddy said, "Here's what we need to do. We need to, all the gold in California is in a bank in the middle of Beverly Hills. We need to sing in Jewel Daffrin's name." So
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
that's
Yeah.
one of them. I can't hear that song now. Except that's the way I sing it.
Yeah,
Miss Daffrin was a longtime teacher and guidance counselor at Millport. I think she taught you, Ken, and she was a guidance counselor when me and Neil was in school.
Yes,
She's
she
still
did.
kicking.
Yeah, she did. She really did. Mm-hmm.
But we want to tell you about a big event coming up a little over a month away, March 18th at the Fayette Civic Center. Information scrolling there at the bottom of your screen. The Dixie Echoes are coming back to town. They'll be with us along with Chosen Witness and Faithful Friends on Saturday night, March the 18th. At 6 o'clock, no admission charge, no ticket needed. Just come on to the Fayette Civic Center and have a big time with us and enjoy some great gospel music that night with the Dixie Echoes. Looking forward to seeing them. And I texted Scoot a while ago and told him that we was playing Crumbs, so he said thank you, and he would make sure that they sung that when they came here.
okay, all righty. They're going to be fairly close to the Tuscaloosa area, I think.
Yeah,
Is
tomorrow
it
night.
tomorrow night? Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be at the Cottondale Church of the Nazarene at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. And then Saturday night, they're going to be down in is it Central Alabama. Is that right? I mean, that's the name of the town.
Center or Central?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We
But it's
Near
just north,
Wetumpka.
just north of Wetumpka.
Yeah.
Right.
They're going to be down there for the Jeff Lanier Memorial Singing. Mark Lanier is putting that together, and the Dixie Echoes are going to be there. And if you go to Mark Lanier's page, he kind of told the story of how the Dixie Echoes figured into their lives. He and his brother Jeff had passed a couple of years ago, but that, he said this is the reason that I wanted the Dixie Echoes there for this Jeff Lanier Memorial Singing. But Mark Lanier will be there. They're going to have a big choir, Gaither style choir, doing some songs, and Bob Sellers is going to be down there, and that's coming up on Saturday night at 6 o'clock. So. We may get to go down, and I may go tomorrow night to Tuscaloosa because I got to do radio Sunday morning. So I'm not sure if I can pull off the Wetumpka singing or not. But we'll try to get down there and see them. But mainly, we want you to come to Fayette and see them in a little over a month. So I know last year, I think it was exactly a month, wasn't it? Before they were with us, they were right here in the edge of Fayette. So
Yes.
so
That's right. So
you
we
never-
want you to go to Cottondale and see them because you will definitely want to come see them a month later
Oh
in
yeah,
Fayette.
you can never get too much Dixie Echo.
That's
for
right.
sure. Ken, I want to play one more song, and I know you've probably got some stories to tell about this. But when I got to bang the drums for the Colombians, as you called it back then, but we did a song without any music called "Is That the Old Ship of Zion?" The Kingsmen recorded it in 1977 on the Chattanooga Live album, and then the Colombians recorded it in '78. Is that right, Neil?
I think so.
And
yeah.
I remember some of the goings on. Recorded that album at Quicksilver Sound Studio in Sulligent, Alabama, with Billy Maddox, and tell some stories about recording the Old Ship of Zion.
Well, I don't know who suggested that we sing that song, but we decided we were going to sing it on the and and as far as I know, that I never heard anybody else sing that song. Now they may have, but the Kingsmen could tear it up. I'm telling
Yep.
you. And we went in there, and it took forever to. Of course, there's a lot of oohing and ahhing on that song too, and we had to. Everybody basically had to go back and do their part again several times, but we got a good recording of it, I thought, and a lot of people enjoyed it when we sang it, and but to hear anybody else sing it, I never heard anybody else sing it besides the Kingsmen and us. But I'm sure they did. But
Oh yeah.
I just never heard it anybody sing it. But it was, and while we were recording that album, I think y'all said this one time on a previous show. I forget who it was. He said, if you really want to learn how to really sing, lay down in the floor, back to back, and try to sing. He said, it'll make you work to get your part right. So we did right there in the studio. We got out on, not that song, but we got that on our back, head to head.
Yep.
And we sang a song. And the guy that said that, he was right, because you had to really work to get your part right, or it'd sound terrible if you didn't.
Yeah, Mr. Rainwater, I believe was his last name.
You're right. I believe you're right.
Was
Yes.
it Dempsey?
I believe it was Dempsey Rainwater. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rainwater. He
Yeah.
said do that, and we tried it, and it worked pretty good.
Well, let's listen to the Colombians. Let's go back to 1978, and I remember Billy Maddox kind of wanted to set the scene a little bit, so he came up with it'd be so easy to do today, but it wasn't that easy when you was recording directly to about 2-inch tape. But he created some sound effects of some waves, and so you can about see the old ship of Zion coming in when you hear these waves crashing. Let's listen to the Colombians, and is that the old ship of Zion I see?
I was standing on the banks of the river, looking out over life's troubled sea. When I saw an old ship that was sailing, is that the old ship of Zion I see? Its hull was bent and battered from the storms of life. I could see waves were rough, but that old ship was steady. Is that the old ship of Zion I see? At the stern of the ship was the captain. I could hear as he called out my name. Get on board. It's the old ship of Zion. It will never pass this way again. As I step on board, I believe in all my heartaches and sorrows behind. I'll be safe with Jesus the captain, sailing out on the old ship of Zion, sailing out on the old ship of Zion.
There's you some music from the Colombians. And is that the old ship of Zion I see? Here on the Champion Brothers broadcast, Ken Cook is our special guest tonight. Ken, that brings about a memory or 7 or 10 or so, doesn't it?
Yes. I thought we done a pretty good job on that song.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yeah, you did.
the whole crew did. That was a good song, and everywhere we sang the song out loud, they really liked the song.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Well, gosh, it's hard to believe we've been on here about an hour, almost an hour and 20 minutes.
Flown by.
Time flies when we're having fun. I told Neil before we started, I said, well, this will probably be either one of the longest or one of the shortest shows we've done, but depending on how wound up Ken gets. But you could probably tell about 47 more bus stories. And
Yeah, everybody ought to have one.
Yeah. Right. Right.
but Neil and I are you kind of referred to it earlier, Neil, about the length of time that we've been singing. And, it's kind of sobering now when you think about, because you just turned to be what, 59 plus one,
I did.
and I'm 56. And then you think about it, because Ken, you were born in what, 43? So you were about what, 34, 35 years old, 36, somewhere along in there when you recorded that last song that we just heard.
Somewhere in that range.
Wow.
And it's like, wow, I'm about 20 years older than you were when you recorded that. I mean, it just
Sobering.
kind of slaps you in the face sometimes. But and I told my buddy Mike Newman, I love Mike Newman. I love picking at him all the time. But he had the insurance company in Millport when Neil and I were kids, and we moved back to Millport. And I told him, I said, how is it that when I was a kid, it seemed like you was about 40 years older than me, but now it seems like I'm about 10 years older than you. I don't understand that. And that's about the way I feel about Ken. It's like, man, you was old back then, but now it's like you're younger than I am. So
Been a
seems
lot,
that way sometimes.
lot of water on the bridge, brother.
For sure.
But sure do enjoy getting to stand with you and sing, and I know Neil has too these last few times, and a few
Yes.
more times to come. But man, we sure have enjoyed it. It took us almost as long to get you on here with us as it did for us to start singing from the time I first mentioned it. So I guess I've got a pattern of I'll tell you something, and about a year later it'll happen. So
There you go.
I'm kind of
Thank you.
ashamed of that now that I think
Thank
about
you
it.
for having me on. I've really enjoyed it. Some of the memories we used to have back then, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more. Good
The fact
Lord
that we're
willing.
still getting to make some is just thrills my
Absolutely.
soul. So,
That's right. You never know when you can't make it anymore.
yep. Well, thank you so much. And one more time, we'll want to tell everybody about the big singing coming up on March 18th, on Saturday night, March 18th, at the Fayette Civic Center. The Dixie Echoes will be there. Faithful Friends will be there. Chosen Witness will be there. And most of all, we hope you'll be there. Don't cost you anything to come. Don't have to buy a ticket or nothing. Just show up and expecting a great time of the Lord. And we hope that you'll come and be with us
Right.
on March 18th. And then we've already got July and November planned too.
Yeah.
So we'll be telling you a little bit more about those as they get a little bit closer. So please
That's
come and
right.
be with us. Go ahead and mark that down on your calendar and planning on being with us. You'll enjoy the Dixie Echoes, and you'll enjoy Chosen Witness, and you'll tolerate Faithful Friends. So, but
Well,
thank
sure.
you. Oh, look, wait. She finally checked in with us. Good to see you, Ken, and the champions too. I don't know if Miss Judy knows we talked about her a while ago or not, but Miss Judy, you can rewind some, and Ken was talking about you some a while ago. So
Yeah,
appreciate you
you
dropping
better,
by.
better pull that up. It might be bad. I'm
Check it
kidding.
out.
I'm kidding.
But yeah, thank y'all so much for joining us, Ken. Again, thank you for joining us this evening, and hopefully we'll be back next week. Far as I know, I don't know of any reason why we wouldn't be, but we'll be back real soon. And again, we may just have to make you a regular now. I don't know, but I'm sure if we have some other special guests, we'll get Scoot back in here before too much longer, and he can talk to us. Maybe I don't know if we can get Randy Senior in at the same time or not, but we'll make it happen between now and then,
Yeah.
and hopefully you'll get to join us too for some great memories and talking some Southern gospel. Neil, you want to dismiss us, or
I
I feel
think
like I've
all
hogged
mine.
this show tonight, and I don't, I don't know how much we need to disclose, but you've been on the puny list, and I'm glad that you was
I
able to
have.
even be in here tonight. So
I
Well,
have. It was.
big shout out to your mom.
yes,
Hey,
she's
mom.
upstairs.
She's watching for sure.
She always says Ken Cook's a brother she never had. So
Yeah, that's right.
I claim her as my sister. So
yes,
hang
sir.
in there, lady. Love
All
you.
right.
But anyway, Neil,
Yeah,
anything
I
else you
think
need to say?
I think all minds are clear. Yeah, I enjoyed just sitting back and mostly listening tonight. Like you say, I'm still trying to get over the last day and a half, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's been fun. Really, some great memories.
Well, thank y'all for joining us this evening, or whenever you happen to be watching us. Come be with us on March 18th, and we'll be back next time here on the Champion Brothers broadcast, here on Facebook and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. We'll see y'all next time. Good night, everybody.
You know.